Short-term memory decline is often one of the first and most unsettling indicators of cognitive aging. It begins quietly. You forget what someone just said, misplace your keys despite holding them moments earlier, or reread a sentence several times because it won't stay in your mind. These lapses seem trivial at first, but when they become frequent, they point to a weakening of the brain's working memory systems, particularly those centered in the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex. Short-term memory is not about long-term recall of childhood or past events. It is about your brain's ability to hold information temporarily, process it, and use it for ongoing tasks, the mental workspace that makes reasoning and decision-making possible. When this system begins to falter, the warning should be taken seriously. Short-term memory decline doesn't simply mean forgetting small details. It can signal that the brain's capacity for focus, learning, and quick adaptation is under strain, often from stress, poor sleep, inflammation, or nutrient deficiency. At the biological level, short-term memory depends on both neurotransmitter efficiency and structural health in the hippocampus, the brain's memory hub. The hippocampus acts like a temporary storage center, transferring information from short-term to long-term memory during periods of rest and sleep. When neural communication becomes disrupted due to oxidative stress, impaired circulation, or low-energy metabolism, new information cannot be properly encoded. Vitamin E, a potent antioxidant found in foods like almonds, sunflower seeds, and avocados, plays a key protective role in this system. It shields cell membranes from oxidative damage, preserving neuronal integrity and allowing smooth transmission between memory circuits. Without adequate antioxidant protection, the hippocampus becomes vulnerable to free radical damage and inflammation, which gradually dulls its efficiency. This biochemical erosion, if unaddressed, can progress into broader cognitive rigidity or early signs of mild cognitive impairment. The modern environment amplifies this problem by overwhelming short-term memory with constant multitasking, digital interruptions, and fragmented attention. Every incoming message, notification, or rapid switch of focus forces the brain to divide its limited working memory capacity. Over time, this leads to chronic attentional fatigue, a state in which memory storage becomes shallow because the brain never remains still long enough to encode properly. The warning here is urgent. The human brain was not designed for continuous, fragmented input. When people try to hold too much in their mental RAM, the system simply drops information, causing the sensation of forgetfulness. True memory loss often begins not with a damaged brain, but with an overburdened one. To restore short-term memory efficiency, one must rebuild the brain's ability to focus, encode, and retrieve information with deliberate training. Daily cognitive exercises aimed at memory recall, such as matching games, story reconstruction, or pattern recognition, strengthen the neural pathways responsible for holding and manipulating information. Digital tools like BrainHQ, Lumosity, or Neuronation can be used to practice working memory tasks systematically, helping the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex coordinate more effectively. However, real-world memory challenges are equally, if not more, powerful. Learning short poems, memorizing shopping lists, recalling conversations in detail, or rehearsing daily events aloud are practical, low-tech ways to keep the memory system active. Repetition is key. Every time you force the brain to retrieve information, it strengthens the neural connections that make recall faster and more stable. Physical activity is another non-negotiable pillar of short-term memory protection. Regular aerobic exercise, even brisk walking for 20 to 30 minutes a day, increases blood flow to the brain and stimulates the release of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, a growth protein that supports hippocampal cell regeneration. BDNF acts like fertilizer for neurons, helping new memory cells form and connect. People who exercise consistently tend to have better memory recall, faster learning, and greater mental resilience to stress. In contrast, sedentary habits and prolonged sitting reduce blood flow and oxygen delivery to memory regions, causing slower encoding and more frequent lapses. Sleep plays an equally critical role. During deep sleep and REM cycles, the brain consolidates short-term memories into long-term storage. Without adequate sleep, typically 7 to 9 hours per night, the hippocampus cannot properly transfer new information. This is why poor sleepers often complain of forgetfulness and brain fog. Sleep deprivation also increases cortisol levels, which directly damage hippocampal neurons over time. To protect memory, It is vital to maintain a regular sleep schedule, avoid blue light exposure before bed, and allow at least one full sleep cycle, roughly 90 minutes, of uninterrupted deep rest. Even short daytime naps can improve memory retention by providing the brain a chance to process and integrate new information. Nutrition further underpins every aspect of memory performance. Vitamin-rich foods, almonds, sunflower seeds, avocados, spinach, and olive oil, form the backbone of neuronal protection. These nutrients stabilize the fatty membranes of neurons, ensuring efficient electrical signaling. Omega-3 fatty acids, found in salmon, flaxseed, and walnuts, enhance synaptic communication, while B vitamins, especially B6, B12, and folate, support the production of neurotransmitters critical for encoding memory. Avoiding high-sugar diets and processed fats is equally essential, as these create inflammation and insulin resistance that impair hippocampal function. Hydration, too, is often underestimated. Even mild dehydration can slow thought speed and disrupt recall. The simple habit of drinking enough water throughout the day keeps neurons firing smoothly and maintains optimal electrolyte balance for cognitive processes. Stress management is also vital for memory preservation. Chronic stress floods the brain with cortisol, which shrinks the hippocampus over time and interferes with new memory formation. Practicing relaxation techniques such as mindfulness meditation, breathing exercises, or slow body-based movements like yoga can calm the stress response and protect memory circuits from hormonal overload. Mindfulness training, in particular, has been shown to increase hippocampal volume and improve working memory capacity. Even 5 minutes of daily mindfulness, focusing attention on the breath or on sensory detail, teaches the brain to maintain focus and reduce interference, improving both short-term and long-term retention. Environmental design can make a surprising difference as well. Keeping an organized workspace, writing things down in clear lists, using visual cues or structured routines, these are not signs of weakness, but strategic aids to reinforce the brain's natural memory system. The human mind was never meant to store every detail internally. Using external memory supports helps free cognitive capacity for deeper reasoning. However, reliance on digital reminders alone can become a trap, leading to cognitive outsourcing, where the brain stops practicing internal recall. The balance lies in using tools as scaffolding, not substitutes, for memory. A daily memory maintenance routine can make a profound difference. Begin each morning with 10 minutes of mental warm-up, recalling the previous day's main events, reviewing tasks, or practicing short recall drills. Pair this with light physical movement and a breakfast rich in vitamin E and healthy fats. Throughout the day, engage your working memory by summarizing conversations, learning short sequences, or teaching what you just learned to someone else. Teaching is one of the strongest forms of memory reinforcement. Before bed, take a few minutes to mentally review the day, noting 3 key details you want to remember. This small act of intentional reflection strengthens overnight consolidation and signals the brain that new information is worth storing. The positive side of this picture is powerful. The human brain remains capable of regeneration and improved memory performance well into late adulthood. Neurons can form new connections, and even new brain cells can grow in the hippocampus under the right conditions of nutrition, sleep, and stimulation. Consistency matters more than intensity. Small daily practices accumulate into significant cognitive resilience. Yet the warning must be taken seriously. Persistent short-term memory decline that goes unaddressed may eventually lead to deeper impairment, reduced independence, and early aging of brain function. The mind is not lost overnight. It fades through neglect. By rebuilding attention, feeding the neurons, and reintroducing deliberate challenge and rest, one can not only slow decline, but often reverse it. The goal is not merely to remember better, but to keep the brain alert, curious, and responsive, a living instrument that, when cared for, retains its sharpness and vitality for decades.